Good evening and welcome to the doHow chat, my first doHow chat with my first boss, my mentor and guru and guide in whatever way I can say, who has been my inspiration, Mr. K G Shashidhar. Before I introduce him, let me introduce the doHow chat format. It's a platform for sharing the wisdom on tackling the work and life challenges by doing the basics. doHow is an approach for significantly improving individual and team performance with contextual basics. doHow is a methodology for transforming individual mindset and team culture through Socratic discussions. doHow principle is inspirational persuasion of individuals and teams using comparative doing scoreboard, which would then create a healthy competition for people to excel. With this very brief introduction, let me talk about the three areas that doHow addresses. First is the career, then startup and business. One could start a career and along the way decide to get into a startup venture. And as the startup becomes more robust, becomes more profitable and sustainable, then it would get converted into a business which could go on for more than a decade and even more than a century. So doHow is basically methodology where we address all the three areas. And for addressing these three areas, I have created what I call as the career chakra, startup chakra, and business chakra. And that is basically a combination or a compilation of the various flows in each of these areas necessary for success. So with that very brief introduction, I want to just show this disclaimer, because whatever we are talking, we are trying to do it with a noble purpose, with a good intention. So I would request that you please go through this and consider this in whatever way you want to use our explanation, our wisdom in your work and life. With that very brief introduction, let me stop the sharing and get back to the video. And now I would like to introduce, like I said, my first big boss, guru, mentor, and role model for me, Mr. K G Shashidhar. Thank you for coming over here, Mr. Shashidhar. Welcome. And I would like to ask you first by maybe sharing a very brief, what should I say, summary of your outstanding career from a technical graduate trainee to a vice president.
Hi, Dinakar, and hello everybody on this information sharing session. I started off with the German multinational, then called Myco, now called Bosch. Served them for 37 years and started from the lowest position a graduate could start with, which is what was then called a technical graduate trainee, a scheme where you are a trainee for 2 years and then you're put on the job and then go through your career cycle. As Dinakar has said, the career chakra, you go through that. And then I I retired in some years ago, 16 years ago to be precise, as the vice president heading a business unit of Myco, now Bosch. That's my career. So I started off as an engineer and ended up as a one of the senior executives of the company. So that's very briefly what I've gone through. That's my career chakra. I think more or less it follows a little bit the doHow 3 cycles which he has shown.
Thank you so much.
Back to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. See, first of all, if you look at today's, I keep working with various companies and get meeting younger engineers. I somehow feel that the younger generation has some kind of a fear, some kind of an inhibition to really dirty their hands. You have mentored and you have guided many youngsters. So what do you think would be the reason for this kind of a not a resistance, some kind of an inhibition to really get in and start looking at the machine, dirtying their hands? What do you think would be the reason, and what could be done to overcome that?
I think the reason could be that, so-called attractiveness of a desk job, whether you are an engineer, you start doing coding or something in the IT field. That's the attraction where you can say your work is, let's say, much more cleaner, in that sense. You're sitting in a desk, air-conditioned atmosphere, you got a coffee machine close by, all that. That could be the reason why any other sort of work career doesn't look too good. And what can be done for that would be to make it attractive. See, when I started and when you joined way back in, what was it, 87 or 86 when you joined MICO, the factory floor was really that way a little dirty. Okay. Many times not that well lit, a lot of dirt, factory floors were not clean. But then all the manufacturing companies in India, it's not only MICO or Bosch, all of them have undergone a transformation. And all of them now are, as we used to say in our times, they are clean. They are actually so clean that you can say it's like a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And the floor is clean, well lit. There's no this thing about it. Everything becomes transparent with the production system principles. Everything is transparent. You see it. You can walk through. Some of them are... and you've got a lot of high technology running there. So by looking at that itself is an attraction to start working where, if you're an engineer, that's where the technology is. And what for us was the challenge was learning those new technologies then, even in spite of all the dirtiness and this and that, etc. We were, at least our generation, to some extent your generation, were on cutting edge technologies which shape the products which are there, and these are now commonplace.
Mm-hmm.
That was a challenge. Now there are a lot more technologies. Of course, a lot of it is software related. So it could be that you have machines which are run by software, CNC and others, and you can remotely program them and go and see what's happening. So that is, I think, the way it should be marketed a little bit.
Yeah, see, one is, but what you say is very true. I think the perception of cleanliness and perception of the ease of work could be one barrier. And I'm sure that barrier would not exist in big companies, whether it is a Bosch or a ABB, Volvo, TVS. Like you said, the shop floors are all as good as a hospital today. So I don't think that would be a problem at all. But there are other companies where it is not, it is more or less the same as what it was in 80s or even 70s when you started your career. So let's come to that. Before that, I have, in the same line of this kind of an inhibition, many a times I see, I would give an Excel sheet to some of my clients. It could be an Excel sheet for doing planning, Excel sheet, a template kind of a thing. I would have done with whatever knowledge I have of Excel. It could be for entering the production data. It could be for making sure that the sales orders are captured on the Excel sheet so that they can do planning in a better way. And I'm talking about companies which could possibly be maybe around 150 to 200 to 300 crores, or maybe even 500 crores, which are many a times owner-run companies with no formal structures and professional setups like what you have in Bosch or any other multinational company. So there also the younger engineer, they have a difficulty. I said that, look, at my age, I can go to the Google and then try to find out how to do a calculation in Excel. And why is it that you always need everything to be spoon-fed? That's something which really bothers me. Have you come across anything like that? Or do you see that over your journey, as the generations changed, the amount of spoon feeding that you had to do was more, or was it the same as the time passed on?
I think here the role of the person who's overseeing the young engineer in an organization, small or big, is very important. And the role of that leader would be to nurture this youngster. Unless he or she is nurtured in the sense asking the right questions, giving them some challenges. And those things, if they are not done, they tend to lose interest and they do something else or leave the organization or something like that. Then this bad perception comes that this job is not good. Let's go back. Let's do something like in an IT sort of job. When through my career, I didn't notice that so much. Okay. When you were there, I mean, your group of trainees who joined were all a little bit passionate. You wanted to pick up. There was a passion to learn. And we were only facilitating that passion to learn and giving you some challenges. Now, I think so, the leader there, and the leader means the immediate boss. There'll be somebody to whom these youngsters report to. I think there's a certain role, and they should be by the owner of the company or whoever is the big boss there. I think they should take it in hand, saying that these youngsters need to be nurtured. And you don't need all sophisticated big training programs, 2 years, this, that, all that is not required. 1 month of some orientation and then some nurturing, giving them the right challenges. See, there are 4 C's in all this. One is challenge, second is creativity, the third is communication. So there are these 3 C's which are important when you set off your career. And you should have take the challenge, use your creative way. As an engineer, you would have learned. I'm now talking of an engineer, okay? And an engineer, whichever branch it is, would have take the challenges and use the technical knowledge of what you've learned in college to the industry, small or big. And I would like to narrate an incident here which happened to me when I was a trainee. And as you know, we were in what was then called as the process planning group. So the German is the technical works manager at that time, a German, well-known, Mr. Bemler in this case. And he got one of my orders justifying for some particular this thing. It was for some particular project. And I was summoned by him saying, you want this, tell me why you want it. And then I had to go there, explain in technical detail. And this helped my engineering knowledge, helped me in putting it forward to him in principles. So it wasn't just waffling about it. I showed him all that, made some calculations there, and told him this is why I want you to approve this. He approved it. But he asked the right questions. And I was prepared to answer all that. Mm-hmm. So this is something which I think is lacking in today's generation. They don't want to use that knowledge which they've gained in their studies of 4 years or how many semesters. They don't use that. And then they think everything should be told by the boss. It is not just do it. It is the creativity of it.
Correct. But also it could be because of the education system itself, right? In the sense, if I remember the time when I did my education in BMS and when you did your education in BMS, it must have been even worse. In my case, I don't think there was any professor who would come and teach anything. Wherever we wanted, we could go and sit. Otherwise, we had to learn on our own.
That's right. So you're learning on your own.
Was part of the education system itself, isn't it?
Yeah, it's part of the education. But we are now talking of somebody who's got into a job after being qualified as an engineer and will be reasonably academically pretty good. We are not talking of those who are, just above the
Yeah, that's true.
pass mark.
No, but you still look at it. If you look at it, again, this is something which is contrasting. I wanted to just put a hypothesis. See, one side, when we started working, the process maturity in the industry was very low.
Okay.
When I say it could be a manufacturing process maturity or also business process maturity. Whereas over the years, there are a lot of initiatives have come up, and then now you've got business excellence and CMMI came, then operational excellence, business excellence, which basically give a tremendous amount of emphasis for process maturity, process based working, etc. So that possibly has resulted into getting the entire organization into a process mode, wherein you are not allowing individuals to think much, to really do much, I don't know whether the colleges also, because colleges also have a fantastic process description now. They've got a vision, mission, statement, what is the course outcome, what is the curriculum, and how are you going to achieve that outcome. Everything is described.
Yeah,
What
should the required for ISO, no?
Was required for ISO. I don't know. Do you think those standards are the ones which have really hindered the creativity in people?
No. I don't think so. I don't think so. Conforming to the standards is good, but you should understand what the standard can give you. And let me one more point. You mentioned these 150, 200 crore owner-driven companies. Which are not organized like big companies. So those smaller companies is where even the processes are not strong.
No, the manufacturing processes are not strong. That's true.
Leave alone the business process also, whatever it is. So a lot depends on the person recruiting these young engineers into their company and suitably taking care of them. It's not that he has to every day spend 4 hours, nothing like that. Something he has to spend time, and once he starts asking, since it's an owner company, then down the line everybody follows suit. I think you can vouch for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So the Yata Raja Tata Praja.
Yeah.
So it will definitely happen. So I think a lot depends on these owners who need to do it, not just look at some other objectives of the company. This people portion is very important.
Yeah. The other day, I remember last week, I was having a similar chat with another person by name Ajit Kaikini, who is the founder of what is called as Buoyancy. It was an initiative, a kind of a school which they founded about 15, 20 years back for getting kids to become more, learn more life skills in school is what the objective was. So he was telling that, look, when you do the Abhisheka, it always happens from the top. You cannot do Abhisheka from the bottom. So in any organization, unless the top is involved, top is cleaned, there is no possibility of cleaning the bottom. It was, it is something very interesting. See,
yeah, definitely.
See, off late, when you are later part of your career and also after retirement, you were very much involved in business excellence.
Yes.
Now, you see, if I look at companies which were existing, even today, there are many companies which are more or less the same way as what it used to be in the 70s. They have difficulty every day. It is major chaos and major crisis management. And there is no kind of a horizon, no kind of a future. Everybody is unclear, uncertainty so much. Now, that's a lot of such companies are there in India. Even big companies, large companies are like that. What do you think is the reason why the fantastic wisdom of business excellence has really not percolated in the country? And what do you think should be done?
See, one is it needs some understanding of the whole model, what it does. It's not a ready-made tool for changing all your firefighting and all that. It's something you have to apply. You have to understand and then apply. And you have to sync all those modules together. If you take the CII Exim Bank model, then that has various, enablers and then results. Okay, these all enablers have to sync. There are 5 enablers, if I'm not mistaken. All of them have to work in sync. If they don't work, and for that you should understand that they are consisting of certain key issues in each of those enablers. People don't do it. They think it's a ready-made tool. I'll apply, get a consultant, get somebody I'll put him on the job, and everything will turn out in 9 months. It will become beautiful.
So like implementing lean, for example.
Yeah, even lean also, it becomes then a failure sometimes.
No, but
So
there are a lot of consultants who do that, right? You give an order and they'll implement lean. Whether it works later or not is a different story, but it got implemented.
And, okay, a consultant, his job is done. Once he has done it, he gets out.
Correct.
He doesn't hold the responsibility of implementation many times unless the contract says so. So it is, I think, little important that the company, if they decide to go in for it, should understand all these key points. And the consultant whom they hire should tell them, yes, are you prepared for it? Again, this Abhisheka thing, the owner should be told, okay, yes, I'll commit myself. Then let him start doing Nevidya. Then it will work. Then otherwise the consultant is not doing a true job.
Correct.
Many times consultants will do it just say for the sake of the contract or just for the sake of fulfilling some obligation. This is also not right. You need to have passion everywhere. I think a lot of passion is not there many times. The passion to learn.
Yeah, you hit the nail. You hit on the nail. See, I think the passion is something which is the driver even for the newcomers or whoever it is in the organization to really not ask the question and try to learn something, try to do something different. Passion possibly is the main reason. And the question is, why is passion not getting developed in today's world? I don't know.
Passion, now the present generation wants everything quick,
Is it quick or is it that they have been given wrong information? See, because today the amount of knowledge that they have got is phenomenal. The amount of content that they receive is outstanding. Their access they have got is unlimited.
Yes.
So because of that, is it possible that the entire information, whatever knowledge, whatever that has been given, has been mainly oriented towards the technology and towards the subject matter, whereas when it comes to basics of life, whether it is being passionate or being humble or being assertive, these traits have never really been worked on, and there is a lot of wrong information which is being given in this direction.
Possible. That could be wrong information either from parents or teachers. Okay, it could be both sides. And what also I think could be happening is there's no discipline also. See, you need a certain schist, You need that discipline to say, yes, you've got some homework to be done. A youngster has homework at school or in college, or something he has to revise. He should do it at that particular day and time. Not do it just before the examination or the test. You do it that time, your retention becomes better. And that discipline also is another aspect which I think is a little bit lacking, because there are too many diversions nowadays.
Diversions, correct.
The what do you call the concentration time? You should have a little longer concentration time. And if you're looking at a screen, I read somewhere that the concentration time is in milliseconds on a screen. When you design a website, something like that, in some 0.28 or 0.3 of a second or something like that, as far as I remember. Correct. The concentration is only for that.
Correct.
After that, you want to see something new.
Correct.
That's not needed. You need to look at it's a lot of it is in the details. The devil is in the details, they say. So you must take the time to look at something, read it. And nowadays, nobody wants to read. Let me tell you, this thing of reading has gone out of vogue.
No, but is it because of your being a cricketer that gave you the discipline?
No, I don't think so. No. Cricket gave me a lot of team spirit,
But not discipline. That didn't really inculcate discipline. Because you have to get up every day in the morning, go for the practice and all that, right?
Yeah, that's all needed. So that's a little discipline in a slightly different fashion, but the discipline of, going to work every day. You remember the days, it was 7:45, 7:46 means you come and sign with a red pen.
Correct. I keep telling everybody, I don't know whether you remember that incident. I had once come during LTA to talk to the operators. And the security guy, I came late because it was LTA. So I said, I'll come late. And why did I take LTA? Because our Venkateswamy had told that you cannot go to shop and explain to the operators. It is the job of the foreman there. That is Nagendra Kumar was there.
Okay.
So I wanted to explain to them I think it was match grinding or some pair grinding or something like that. I wanted to explain to all the operators. So then I decided to come during the LTA. During LTA, I came, and then the security guard made me write down that I was late. I told him I'm still in NTA. Then he wrote down. I wrote in that book 3 times I had come late. Then our Mr. Kanakarajan, I think
you'll have to go and explain to him.
You were called to. You were also called. I was also called. He wanted to know why I have come late. I said, look, I have come late on LTA time. And he had not even seen that. And you said, okay, you forget it.
So
it was
you're right.
Very critical.
The discipline of coming, to work on time.
Yeah.
It's an important thing. That's a small discipline everybody learns. Nowadays, it's okay, flexi time. Okay, even flexi time, if you're given whatever, half an hour or 1 hour or
you also cross that.
Yeah, you cross that. At least you should be there, little ready in chance. Like today we started the talk. Okay, I was there 5 minutes earlier. That's the discipline I had.
Correct.
8 o'clock was the time you had said. Okay, 19:55. I had switched on, kept myself ready. Only, I was fine tuning the video, this, that, etc. And all that. Okay, so it's a discipline of sitting down and doing it.
Yeah.
Not coming at the last minute, and then looking, okay, what is happening? Where is the link? What is the meeting password? This, that, all, goody-goody, and you're already worked up.
No, maybe it is because of the prioritization also, right? You look at your day. When you look at the day, you want to eat so much.
I don't agree on prioritization. Everything is important. You must allocate the time for that.
Correct. No, you imagine that if you are accepted to do 3 jobs at the same time, then you get into a stressful situation, isn't it?
Yeah, you could be, but every job will not be wanting the same time. Very rare.
Correct.
That could happen.
Correct.
Okay, you have tough deadlines, but you complete one thing and you're there for the next one, you will have at least a 5-minute breather.
Correct.
That 5 minutes is when you take 2 minutes to cool down, get into this mode and switch on your computer or whatever else you want to do, or walk into the conference room and start getting ready for that.
Yeah.
Not all this goody-goody rushing around and all, I think is all, and this many times this becomes a drama in all organizations. People use it as a drama, saying I'm too busy. There's no such thing as that.
Last week, I was having a session, I call it the doHow session, where it's a Socratic discussion which we have last week with one of the companies in Pina, a very well-known company. It was supposed to start at 3 o'clock, and 3 o'clock out of 35 people, only 6-7 people were there. Then after 5 minutes, another 3 people came in, and then slowly everybody came in. By 3:20, about 25 people had come in. Then what I did was I just opened an Excel sheet and wrote down 3-5. How many people were there? 3 o'clock, how many were there? 3-5, how many added? So it was a graph. Okay, it graph showed. So I said, why is it that you came late? Then everybody has a reason. I said, everybody have a reason. There is no, you can't say that I don't have a reason. Without reason, you won't come late. And then the justification is so strong that in the group, there are people who feel that, look, I'm sorry that I came late. And the VP of that company, he's telling that, sir, I've been in this company from the day one and I have never come late. In fact, I am so serious that once I believe he went to airport, and in the airport, he went late because he thought he would go in his vehicle, though he could have taken a taxi. He wanted to go in his vehicle, park the vehicle and go to the airport. So he missed the flight. He said, sir, I missed the flight, but I didn't have the courage to go and tell my boss that because of me going late, I missed the flight. So I bought the money, paid the money for the next flight.
Okay.
At that difference I paid, and then went to the meeting. So I also have done that once with one of my clients. But anyway, client is a different story than In his case, he could have said, I don't want to do my company. It is. He's an employee.
Yeah.
Now, what he was telling that, and nobody felt there any kind of a guilt for having come late.
Yeah.
They were absolutely fine. And later, these guys said that, sir, what? Then I kept on telling that you tell me what needs to be done. If suppose you come late, what is the implication? If there is no implication, nothing will happen. And second is, if you another thing is, if you come late, then you are basically hurting the time of the other person.
That's right.
Other person's time you are eating away. You know?
Exactly. You're not respecting the other
respecting the other person. Respecting the other person. So
exactly.
Then I don't know what will happen. So next week we should see what happens. Then the senior management was very happy, saying that, sir, nice that you told. We have been trying to tell them that they don't come on time in the morning. You know, in the morning we have given flexi timing. Even though flexi timing is given, he comes 15 minutes late. Then there's always a reason that there was traffic, there was this, there was that. You know, so it's something which is very important. very important point which you spoke.
In addition to what you said, I think this is something which needs to be inculcated as a young child.
Do you think these are the reasons why countries like Germany or Japan or Korea, China, in fact, are better than us in terms of the overall productivity and
one of the important factors would be discipline.
Discipline, right?
Discipline and the whatever inculcation as a child, you know, a lot of things go into them as a child. Here and nowadays, you know, with phone and social media available, you know, and the child is nothing to do and the mother is busy. Simply take the phone, give the phone to them and say, okay, now you get into one game, whatever game it is. Maybe you could develop a doHow game for children or something like that, inculcating all these values.
Yeah. That is very true. We should do that, yeah. I will think of that. I'll definitely think of that.
So I think it's some of these are important for these people when they step into a real life situation. And I remember, you know, you must have heard of Akio Morita.
Yes.
The person who set up Sony along with one more person. Okay. And he was the person who went from Japan to America and set it up, you know, got all that done. He used to always say, and I used to quote this to all the young engineers who joined at the TGTs who joined, that you entered from college where you have some examination at the end of some time. In your work situation, the examination is every day.
Every hour possibly.
Every hour, okay. I'm saying day. Okay, because you'll have a work day.
Yeah.
So it could be every hour or so as you progress in your career. But so that is important. They should realize that there is an examination. You should prepare for that examination suitably in whatever fashion. So all these aspects need to be told to them. They don't realize all this. They think, okay, this is another thing. I can come from attire to attitude to everything, you know, is all different, all the same as in college.
That's true.
Chalta hai sort of thing.
That's true.
But then that's the wrong thing.
That's true.
And you can change what you have not been doing in personal life when you come to work, because the work is going to consume 10 hours, 8 hours at least to 10 hours of your whole career.
It's a very important time, right? Extremely important time of one's life.
Yes, very much. And hence who's the parent at that time? These immediate managers. So they play an important role. And they don't feel they're playing that important role. They say, okay, come do this, do that, do all that over.
And many times the managers also feel that they've been given 20 machines to work with. You know, they don't, many managers don't believe that the employee is a human being, right?
Exactly.
You know, and because it's
a little bit, I think the focus on the people in these industries, and particularly if you take the medium scale MSMEs, you know, this 100, 200, 300 crore companies, I think a little bit the focus on people is, I think, lacking.
Correct.
And people is one of the important things in excellence.
They're the only important thing is possibly, right?
No, in the excellence model.
In the excellence model, correct.
Yeah, so if you take leadership, that's one of them.
Correct.
People is the other one, then you have the rest of it.
Correct.
So these two are important things which people should look at. And instead of that, it's not a ready-made tool for you to click on and say, yes, I'll get rid of my firefighting and all that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So
and it is still prevalent. You're very, very right. Maybe I'm a little out of touch with the business scene in the last couple of years. But from what I hear, the medium scale and some of the suppliers who were there to us in Bosch, they're still doing firefighting, which is not right. But they have good aspirations. They want to do more of exports.
No, I think there are a lot of reasons. For example, in Bosch, I remember in Myco, when 1980s, it was very clear that we had to give a report every day. Every day the scrap was counted. Every day we had to talk about DIR. We had to measure how many rejections happened, how many good parts were produced. We had to measure productivity every day. We had to measure the machine utilization. You remember any machine, new machine, we had to have the machine utilization file, right? 1970s, not now. And even now, the companies have difficulty in finding out what OE is. And then once the OE is a very, what should I say, unreliable metric. Unreliable metric, because in OE, you consider only the planned working time. That means if you have got 24 hours, in 24 hours, if you took a decision that 2 hours I'm going to stop for lunch and 1 hour for information sharing and 1 hour for maybe getting the work done in some other area, then you remove 4 hours. So you are only talking about 20 hours in a day. So based on that, you calculate OE. So this 4 hours you can play around, okay, to get a higher OE. You can do whatever way you want. Whereas in the utilization that we used to do was always 24 hours. There is no question of any anything to be taken out, And that sharpness is missing. That sharpness is missing. And I feel that the culture of reporting, culture of wanting to improve is something that needs to be reinforced. And that's what I do. That's what I've been doing. And I don't teach anything, no content. In fact, it is only to reinforce kindle the fire in the belly for improving. Exactly. Once you are improving, sustaining, then automatically they start succeeding.
Exactly. And the continuous improvement cycle.
Correct.
So that continuous improvement cycle is something which is lifelong.
Correct. Lifelong.
Whether it's learning or doing anything, it's lifelong. It doesn't stop.
No, that's what. See, I think you at your age to be really talking about these topics and also talking about learning is something phenomenal, right? You are
it is essential. I mean, okay, for my age, you need to be mentally active also. So in addition to being physically active, so mentally active is you have to challenge the brain a little bit. You read, think about it, and assimilate. And talk about it. So a little bit, you can keep your mental faculties a little sharp. So that's important. And that is much more important when you're working.
Correct. You should be really sharp.
There's no end to improvement.
Correct.
That's for sure.
Correct. So thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. And I for me, it was really an honor and also a kind of a what do you call it, as nostalgic journey back in time to be talking to you like this. Thank you so much. And maybe we meet again in such a doHow chat. Do you want to share any experience which you had during this chat as a final concluding remark?
No, I think your idea, you made it a good format where it's a little more freewheeling type of discussion. But I mean, if you want to pitch it, for learning, maybe, we could think of talking of a few key things, enablers sort of thing, which could be takeaways, which can be there. Otherwise, you have to listen to the 45 or 50 minutes of discussion which we had, which is in a way nice to listen to and all that. but maybe a little bit you could say, okay, these are the 5 takeaways or something like that, which I think you could do that in the next discussion.
So at the end, you mean conclude at the end as to what could be the takeaways?
I feel for today, first would be that one is there should be a challenge.
Correct.
For all these youngsters, there should be a challenge given to them. And then second should be the little bit of a nurturing, guiding them, and so they don't go astray. And then they should be challenged to think differently. That's the creativity portion or innovation or whatever you want to call it. And then the discipline of doing things right and doing it on time, correctly, all that is important also.
Correct.
So I think all that should be inculcated in that. So these are some of the key takeaways, I think, which can come out of our
So
our
I think
today.
Most important thing is challenging somebody, which is very important, and that gives also the drive and passion to do something. Then
Exactly.
that's very, very important. And thanks a lot. And I think I'll do that from next time onwards.
Yes.
As to what the summary was. Challenging is one. The second is nurturing. Handholding is required after the challenge. Then the third one you said was the discipline, which has to be inculcated to make sure that the basics are done on time.
And continuous learning.
And continuous learning, continuous improvement with whatever that they are doing. That's also a challenge, right? If you challenge them to improve continuously, is also a challenge.
Exactly.
And that needs to come top down. Like the
it has to come top down, as you said. That's very much essential. And I think these could be the important things which we have touched upon today in a good format, where it's a discussion format. So the format is good. And thanks for having me on this.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure. Really, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Inaugural or whatever you want to call it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. And I wish you all the best in this thing. And I hope it helps you in a little more brand building and viewership. You need to get these.
Correct. Nowadays, that's true. That's true.
I hope you get all that in the near future.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.